Hi, Mike here from Supreme Gadgets. Hope you're all having a great day and welcome to my very first video of 2015. So I hope you all had a fantastic Christmas and a happy new year as well. And you're perhaps wondering why I'm sat so low in the camera view. Well, that is because my chair has been taken over by my furry friend Isaac, my cat. And being an animal lover, I'm too soft to throw him off so I can use it. So instead, I'm the one who's sat on the floor. Anyway, this video is a follow-on from my video I did a few weeks ago, just before Christmas, on the unboxing of the Linx 10, which is just behind me here at the moment. I had quite a few questions in the unboxing, comments in the unboxing video, and I've had lots and lots of views. In actual fact, it's probably been one of the most successful videos I've done on Supreme Gadgets. So what I thought I'd do is pull everything together in this video and answer some of those questions in this video and just give you my overall experience of the Linx over the past sort of month that I've been using it. So let's head right in and have a look at the Linx. So one of the most frequently asked questions about the Linx on the previous video was actually about the keyboard case. Now I can confirm that the keyboard case does come in a bundle from Argos. However, most of the shops I've looked at don't actually seem to bundle it with the actual Linx, so you'd have to buy it separately. So if Argos have still got the offer on when you're watching this video, have a look at it, because if you're interested in buying the keyboard case with the Linx itself, then they are slightly cheaper for the bundle price than buying them separately from elsewhere. So my opinions of the keyboard case. Well, the keyboard itself is quite good. It's quite responsive, easy to type, and nice to type on as well. The trackpad, which is here, is okay. It's nothing special really, but it works. And the actual keyboard itself does actually offer a bit of protection. And if I pop the actual the Linx itself on the stand there, when the actual keyboard shuts up, it shuts up on the actual, if I can just bring it in a bit more, on the actual screen itself, so it does offer a bit of protection for the screen, okay, which is good. However, the back here is a bit flimsy, okay, to be honest. It makes a decent stand. It's magnetic, so it makes a decent stand, but it is a bit flimsy, and it is a little bit loose as well, loose fitting, so it's not fantastic. As I said, the front part, so the part that goes over the actual screen, is good because it's hard and it'll protect the screen, but the back part really is a bit flimsy. So if you're taking it out anywhere, what I suggest really is to have another case handy to keep it in. If you're just having it around the house, then it'd probably be okay to keep in this case. Now on to the actual software that the Linx can run. Now the Linx itself runs the standard version of Windows. It's not the RT edition of Windows that some other tablets run, so it's not locked to running modern UI apps. It can run any piece of software that is designed for Windows. However, obviously the lower technical specifications of the Linx, you can't run really high-powered games, for instance, but so long as the software is the technical requirements of the software is matched by the Linx, you're okay, you can run it. One of the questions I had was about iTunes. As you can see here, if I just tap on the iTunes icon, iTunes will appear. It takes a few seconds to load up, but there we are, iTunes, and all the actual music on there as well. Now all this music isn't stored on the Linx itself, it's actually stored on the Drobo. It's just family albums on the actual Drobo itself, so all the family's music is stored on the Drobo, and this can just access it from there. So just drag the whole sort of music folder onto iTunes on the actual Linx, and it just plays it from the Drobo, so there's no space taken up by the actual music on the Linx itself, which obviously does save space. So if I just close iTunes down. Okay, so another app that I was asked about was Minecraft. How well does Minecraft run on it? Because on my first video I did show you that I had got Minecraft installed, but I didn't actually go into it. So what I'll do is just quickly go into Minecraft. Okay, I have put the Linx on the keyboard case, so I've got a keyboard and mouse, because it doesn't work really with the touch screen. I know the Pocket Edition does, but the PC version doesn't work so well. So here we are, just loading into the launcher. Just got to wait for the launcher to appear, and then click play once it allows me to. There we are, just checks for updates, and then it'll launch the game. Okay, there's the Mahjong logo. So if I just go into single player now, and then just go into that world I've created there and go into play. So just have a quick look at how the actual game runs. You can see the loading times aren't as good as on a normal PC, but they're still fairly good. They're not too bad. And as you can see, the actual level loads up. I haven't really built anything in this level. You can see the draw distance is okay, but it's a little bit slow. It's not fantastic. We just drop to the earth. You can see the frame rate's a bit juddery at times. We'll just have a little walk, show you how well it works through the actual trees. You see the frame rate is a bit juddery, but you can alter that sort of set of graphic settings. We'll just do a bit of building here with this block. There's a little rabbit looking on. I'm stuck between trees here. You can see the actual frame rate is lagging a bit now. I have turned the graphics down a little bit on the clouds. The quality of the clouds aren't as good as on my Mac version. Okay, as you can see, the frame rate is not too bad, but once you have got a lot of buildings and that in, it does lag a bit. I have been into a map that my friend has built. We play online together, and there's a lot of buildings in that, and that is a little bit laggy on the Linx tablets. So you're possibly better off with less buildings sort of to play around with on the Linx. But it's just to show that it does work, but you've got to accept that it isn't as good as playing it on a standard PC. Okay, so just save and quit that. So next, what I'm just going to move on to now and cover is the actual internal memory of the Linx. Now, the Linx has 32 gigabytes of internal memory. Now, if you bought an iPhone, say like myself, with a 32 gigabyte internal memory, I got my iPhone 5 a couple of years ago with 32 gigabytes of memory, and it took me almost 2 years to fill up the entire 32 gigabytes. However, Windows is different. Firstly, you've got the 32 gigabytes, and then a large chunk of that is taken up by the recovery partition, which is got built into the actual Linx itself. So then you're left with 24 gigabytes. After that, Windows then takes up a large chunk itself, because that's actually installed on the hard drive and not in some ROM section. And you're possibly left with just over 16 gigabytes when Windows has finished taking up its space. So that isn't a huge amount, really. So once you've got that all taken out, obviously it's 16 gigabytes, and then you start installing apps, and the apps then fill up the rest of the space. So you really are looking, if you want to run some decent apps on this, is to get an SD card. As you can see, that is my Windows hard drive there. It's got 5.62 gigabytes of 24 gigabytes free. And really all I've got installed on there is Windows. I've got some modern UI apps, and I've got Microsoft Office 365, which came with the device. And that's it on that drive. A few other odds and ends like the Chrome browser as well that won't work on the SD card. But other than that, everything I've got installed on my SD card, my 64 gigabyte micro SD card. Now thankfully, most applications will happily install to the micro SD card. So things like iTunes, that will run perfectly from the micro SD card, and most other apps, games and that sort of thing that you you download. The standard desktop apps will run perfectly fine on the SD card. However, there is a few exceptions. The Chrome browser, Google Chrome, that doesn't like running off an SD card. That's got to be installed on the internal memory, and Microsoft Office 365 as well. That just automatically piles itself into C: and in the program files. You don't really get any option with that. But as I said, everything else pretty much will work off the SD card so long as you've got the option to change the hard drive. But the biggest drawback is with modern UI apps. Okay, so any modern UI app, any of these really, any of these games here I've got listed here, or those sort of packages here, the entertainment packages, or Skype and Twitter and that sort of thing, all those require to be installed on the internal drive. Okay, so just go back to there. The internal drive is where all the modern UI apps are installed, within the program files folder, within a hidden folder within there. Now, I did actually go onto the internet and I found a rather good walkthrough on how to migrate everything across to the micro SD card for the modern UI apps. And I followed it. I followed it all the way through and did everything. It was changing some registry entries to make it look in a place on the micro SD card, the D drive, rather than on the C drive. And I did everything that it told me to do on this tutorial, and I thought, great, it's going to work. I went into the modern UI apps and nothing would work. It just started up and closed down immediately, and it was a fault because it was still trying to look on the C drive for those files, not on the D drive. And after a bit of research again on the internet, I found out that the tutorial I followed was for Windows 8. Now this runs Windows 8.1, and Windows 8.1 doesn't support that at all, so you can't actually migrate the stuff across. There is possibly a way with sort of symbolic links if you want to try that out, but I have tried it. It's very, very difficult, so in the end I just gave up and stuck to having the modern UI apps on the internal memory. Everything else is pretty much, if I can, install it on the SD card, and that goes for all my personal files as well. So my documents, my pictures folder, my music folder, my videos folders are all stored on the actual SD card, and the app data folder as well, which is usually stored within your user folder. So all the preferences in that your programs save goes onto the SD card, so that saves some space. So what you want to do is try and save as much space as you can on the actual internal memory. Just a couple of other points as well. The actual HDMI output on the side of the actual Linx works fine on 2 out of the 3 devices I've tried it on. Now, my LG TV, which I have at the side of me here in the studio, and the Samsung HD TV, which is downstairs in the family living room, both work perfectly fine with the Linx. I plugged the Linx into them by the HDMI cable, worked perfectly, not a problem. However, my Zeus monitor, which you can just see at the back here, that doesn't like the Linx too well. I plug it into there, sometimes it will work perfectly fine, other times it just doesn't. It doesn't recognise the Linx is there at all, and it just displays a blue screen. It does seem to kind of recognise that something's plugged in, but it doesn't recognise it enough to actually display the picture or anything, and the Linx just sits there as well, as if nothing's happened, sort of thing. Other times it does work, so it's a bit hit and miss. The other thing I've found out is if you've got something plugged in by USB, you've got less chance of it working as well with the Zeus monitor. So if something doesn't work like that, if you're having problems with a monitor like that's not working, obviously it'd be great to hear about them in the comments. I did have a comment on the previous video about a monitor not working or a TV not working, so that's why I thought I'd mention this. So I think it's possibly to do with something about the power. Maybe the power output isn't enough for the monitor to be recognised, or the monitor to recognise the actual Linx, so nothing happens, kind of thing. The other thing is don't plug it into any kind of HDMI splitter as well. plug it directly into your TV when you're using it with the TV, because the HDMI splitter doesn't provide any power at all, so it requires power actually from the device being connected to it, I think, to make things work. So you've got to think about that as well. Just try and plug it directly into the TV. But other than that, it is a great little tablet. It's working really well. The screen, despite its low resolution and say the iPad, is really nice to use. It's really bright. It's good quality picture, so I enjoy using it. And it is a speedy computer. It starts up very quickly. You can leave it on. It works about maybe 5 hours on a single charge, maybe a bit longer depending on what you're doing. So it is a really decent machine. Highly recommend it. So if you fancy one, if you want the keyboard with it, I'd suggest you go to Argos, because you get the bundle together that's slightly cheaper. If you're not interested in the keyboard, if you go somewhere like Amazon or PC World, then you can pick it up at cheaper price, because obviously the keyboard isn't included. So just before I go, what I'm going to do is do a comparison again with my MacBook Air. So on my first video I did a comparison how fast they both started up, comparing them both, and the Linx did actually beat the Mac by maybe a second or so at getting to the log on screen. So let's test that after roughly a month of use now to see if the Linx is still that quick at starting up. Okay, so here we are again with the MacBook Air on the left and the Linx on the right. So let's get these two booted up. Just try and get this to work. They're both booting up now. So they're both on roughly the same time. Let's see which one's the quickest. Now the Mac was actually a little bit quicker on that one, and the Linx was a little bit slower. So the Linx does look like it has slowed down a little bit since I first got it, but possibly that is to be expected. There is more things being installed, there's been updates done and that sort of thing, so it isn't quite as quick as it was when I first got it, but still, it is still almost as quick as the MacBook Air. So thanks very much for watching. I hope to see you all again next time. Bye for now. Well, thanks for stopping by and checking out our video. If you liked it, be sure to give it that thumbs up, and you can always leave a comment below to let us know what you thought as well. Be sure to subscribe, that way you get kept up to date with all our brand new videos as soon as they're released. Check out our blog by clicking this button over here, and you can always follow us on Twitter and Facebook too, at Supreme Gadgets. Also, if you want to watch another of our videos, click on it, right here. You sure can't tempt you? Go on, click on it. Alright then, we'll see you next time. Bye for now.